keep going sideline. Just lay on your side, either one. Okay, some of the things that we look at, you're doing fine, is that we want to have the person in good position for sideline so they can receive the work, right? So they themselves feel stable. And also this sideline, I'm going to move your leg, okay?
Go ahead.
Just to get them in some sense of alignment, and this is to help open up their hip. But if this bothers someone, you can put a little pillow under someone's knee. Okay, so so we're going to start doing the shoulder by just coming to the head of the person. And if you feel like you want to make any comment about the lovely color of their hair, this is probably a good opportunity to do that. That's a pretty awesome color, by the way.
Thank you.
And we're going to start by opening up here. So top of the shoulders usually feel the brunt of the discomfort. So we're just going to start with a little opening. And I'm going to use the heel of my hand and place it right over the head of the humerus. Right in the center. And I'm simply going to just lightly stabilize the head, and through an extended arm, I'm just going to lean in with my body weight to get nice openness of the shoulder. Feel some stretch here. So just easy with body weight, right? And then release. And we're going to do what's called thumb over thumb, applicably named, I would say. And we're just going to place like this and just sink into the top of the shoulder. And we're going to work from the base of the neck to the shoulder, just right in that soft tissue of the upper trapezius. Pressure's okay? Not too much? You like?
Yeah.
Good. So we repeat that a couple times. And we're using braced thumb so it doesn't put excess pressure on our thenar eminence. Here, so nice relaxed hand. And again, it's with my arms extended, so it's just my body weight leaning in. So easy. Perpendicular pressure, which they like to say all the time, which is true. Okay, so this is nice. And if we just do a little petrissage here, the side of the neck, and always make sure that you're behind the SCM. So here's the sternocleidomastoid, and you want to be behind it when you're doing any work on the side of the neck. And if you're working on someone and they're pretty tight there, if they want a little bit more pressure, from the pad of the thumb, we're going to use this portion of our arm, and we're just going to sink in like this. So again, it's just letting your body weight sink in. And then, because their ear is right here, you can just, excuse me, is that pressure okay? Okay. It's convenient. Always working soft tissue. Okay, great. So from here, we're just going to come and transfer like this. So we're here, and we're going to come right here, and we're going to do the palm of our hand and compress into the temporal area here of the head, and just sink in like this a little bit. And you're compressing into like a crescent moon shape behind the ear, so you're compressing right onto muscle and bone. Okay? Hey, glad you volunteered. That was a good one to volunteer for. That hip might be a different story though. Okay, so compression, and then we're going to come here. I'm just going to do a few more techniques, and then we'll stop and exchange. So one thing I want you to pay attention to is how we move in this work, right? Because the transitions from one body part to another actually hold the continuity of the work, right? It keeps you focused on the work. It keeps everything here about the client. So from here, this is one, when we do this, and the second one is simply coming and kneeling. And when I'm sitting in what's called Seiza position, which is meaning I'm sitting on my heels. If you're sitting like this and it's not comfortable, please feel free to put neck roll or a cushion here to see if that's more comfortable. And if it's still not good at all, you can just sit flat on the mat. And I'll help you with those positions as we go along. But I just want you to try the first one and then do what you need to do to be comfortable when you're doing the work. Okay. So here like this, and I'm just going to put my arm under their arm. And we're just going to do a few things. So I'm going to intertwine my hands on the top of the shoulder. So here's the acromion shelf, and I'm right on the top of the shoulder. And I'm going to inhale, and on the exhale, I'm just going to lean back, continually opening up their neck here as it connects to the top of the shoulder. And do that a couple of times. And I'm going to do some range of motion of the shoulder. So I'm going to separate my hands and just do some nice range of motion. As you can tell, she's not fully letting go yet. But now she is. And we captured that all on the video. Congratulations. Okay. Now, we're just going to do a little warming here and a little warming here, and then we'll exchange just to do a nice little exchange. So, a couple of the things, when you look at the shoulder girdle, on the muscular dynamic, there's the muscles on the front of the body, which are the pec muscles, pec major and minor. And then, usually what is moving the shoulder back this way is the rhomboids and the trapezius. Okay? So we're just going to, we've already worked the upper trap, and we're just going to do a little loosening here, excuse me, for the pec major and minor, and then a little bit for the rhomboid. So for the pec major, we're just going to put the arm like this, and with padded fingertips, we're just going to work here. And when I mean here, I mean if you feel for the clavicle, you'll be below the clavicle, and you're just on the inside of the head of the humerus. So you want to be here so it's all pec major. You wander down too low, you're engaging breast tissue. So you want to not only work the pec major, but also right onto the bone where it attaches. So just easy, just to start to do some general loosening. And I'm trying to do this with a braced surface, and when I'm working, to try to keep my shoulders down so I don't screw my shoulders up while I'm trying to work on their shoulders. And if you're a compassionate therapist, occasionally you'll check in with the person and say, excuse me, how does that feel? Is this okay? Pressure?
Pressure's good.
Pressure's good. Okay, so if you know basic anatomy, you know you have pec major on top, pec minor below. Yep. Pec minor is even more suspect of rolling the shoulder forward because of its attachment on the coracoid process of the arm. So along with general loosening, we want to do a specific stretch for pec minor. Okay, so from this position, we're just going to take the arm straight up and slightly overhead and then back, because that replicates the same angle as the pec minor, and they get nice stretch there. So you let me know when that's enough.
It's enough.
Enough. Okay. So then, can you get those nails too? And then when you come, we're going to come forward now to get the rhomboids. So y'all come over here for a second. So remember, the rhomboids come from the spine, right? Particularly like T1, and they come just below the spine of the scapula and attach all on the vertebral border of the scapula. So we can do just a little circular friction here in between the spine and the vertebral border of the scapula to address rhomboids, correct? And then if you can, here's the border of the scapula. If you can take your fingertips and put it right up against it and bring the shoulder back on it, you do a little digital compression to help release the attachment of the rhomboids. So you put your fingers right up against it and then just rock back and bring the scapula right onto your fingertips. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. And you can do that all the way up around the border. Okay, we'll just end with a little range of motion, and then we'll call that the first demo.